Okay, I don't often do a book talk about a book that's not out yet. Uh, Having not read it, there's not a ton that I can tell you from personal experience. But I feel so confident that I'm going to love this book that I want to hype it right now. So the book that I want to talk to you about is this book called Bad Girls Never Say Die by Jennifer Matheiu. So first of all, let me tell you that this book comes out in October. It's scheduled for October 19th, 2021. You may recognize the name Jennifer Matheiu because she is the author of Moxie, which I love that book so much. It's one of my favorites. Recently adapted to a Netflix movie, and it was a great Netflix movie as well. But she is a phenomenal writer. She's an English teacher from here in Texas, and as an English teacher here in Texas, I want to give her props for that as well. But one of the things that she's doing in this book, so having taught English now for like 10 years, you can sit and talk to students about what books they love that they've read in school, and the answer is almost always very few. Like, most of them are not in love with the books they've been required to read in school, but there's one book that a ton of kids say they loved, and that book's The Outsiders. The Outsiders, if you're not familiar with The Outsiders, it was written by S.E. Hinton, and it's essentially sort of the story of this conflict between the Socs, or some people might call them the Soaks, and the Greasers I believe it's set in Oklahoma, but in the 50s or whatever. And we have characters in that book called like Pony Boy, and we have a famous quote like "Stay Golden," and there's just a lot to love. It's about your friendships and loyalty and gangs and fighting and all that kind of stuff, right? So this is sort of her adaptation of it, her reimagining of it from a female perspective. I watched her in an interview, and one of the things she talked about is she said she always wondered, we really didn't get to know many of the female characters very much. We got to know Cherry a little bit, who was a Soc, but we didn't really get to know any of the Greaser girls. So this is written from the perspective of a Greaser girl named Evie Barnes, and it's sort of like retelling the story with a female perspective. And Evie, who is a Greaser through and through and loyal to her group, is going to be faced with this challenge when she has a Soc that kind of comes and helps her. And she has to question everything she's thought about the Socs and everything that she's thought about herself and loyalty and what it means. And you can tell reading through the story that there's feminism baked in, and that's primarily because it's just baked into who Jennifer Matheiu is, which is one of the reasons that I love her writing so much. So I can't recommend it enough. Bad Girls Never Say Die comes out October 19th, 2021. I know it's going to be on my must-buy list. I hope that you'll go ahead and put in your pre-order now so you can pick it up.